So today we're restoring this vintage EVERREADY Boy Scout flashlight. I've already taken it apart a little bit because I'd already started cleaning it. I ordered it on eBay. I think it was $23. It's really rough shape. I really didn't know too much about it. I just knew that the one I already had was from the 1960s or 70s, and I wanted something a little older to match my other uniforms, so I found this one. It was relatively cheap. Now the reason it was cheap was because it's in pretty bad shape. You can see right here, this is just the top part, the bulb is. And right here you can see the Boy Scout logo still. I polished it up a little bit because this is brass. I was very surprised. The other one I have is aluminum. This is brass. And the paint's worn off. This is the lens that goes over. And here's something really surprising I wasn't expecting either. This lens right here, that's glass. That is very thick. Very thick glass. So that's pretty impressive. I was sure that that would be broken, but it is not, and you can't get in there to clean it. So what I did, taking some Q-tips and just kind of got in there and worked it around. Haven't done too much, but I'll probably get there as I go along. And of course, this is the bottom part. There's not much I can do. It's just bent up, but it still works. It still screws on. You might be able to see the EVERREADY logo on there. I'm not sure if you can or not. It is very prominent though. These flashlights, I'm not really sure when they were made. This model right here with the bottom piece like this, the stripes going along the side and the squared off button, they were made between the 20s up into the late 40s, I believe, maybe even the early 50s, and then they switched to the newer design, and they had the Boy Scout logo on the bottom, not the EVERREADY logo. This one though, it could be as old as 1920s. Go back that far. There's no way to tell really, as far as what shape it's in, and the fact that the lens is made of actual glass, and just its condition. I would say it's probably an older one. Like I said, there's no way to tell. It's nice to think that I might have a flashlight here from the 1920s, and that I can get it back working. Wishful thinking, I suppose. So right now, what I'm doing to this is you look inside of there. I don't know if you can see it. See if I can hold it to the light. You'll see that it might be a little bit wet because I'm soaking it in vinegar. You can see the little bumps on the side. That's corrosion. At some point in this flashlight's life, the batteries were left in it, and it corroded very badly on the inside. So the cure for that is to just let it soak in white vinegar, like I'm doing right here, and then scrub it with a small brush. I have a toothbrush and my brass wire brush right there, and see if you can scrub that corrosion out. And once we do that piece, I'll probably take the bulb out and try to do the head piece as well. I'm thinking of repainting it. I'm probably going to repaint it. The thing I'll have to do before I repaint it though is take the old paint off, and we'll see. I'm not sure about how to go about that because it's brass. Just have to take a look at it. And, we'll okay, so I spent the last hour or so cleaning up the main part, the battery compartment of the flashlight, and I don't know if you'll be able to see or not. In there, you can see all that corrosion. Not all of it. I couldn't get all of it off. Some of it is, I mean, it's on there. It's a chemical reaction from battery acid and brass, and who knows how long that was in there. But most of it is gone, which is enough for my liking. And after that, I went ahead and I polished up the outside. Brought that brass back, and it was originally green, an olive drab Boy Scout green. And I was debating on whether or not to take this and clean it up really nice and repaint it, or just leave it like it is. And talking to my girlfriend, I think I'm going to leave it like it is. It just, the old vintage look, you know, this is how it came. Everything on here is original. Even the little scraps of paint right there, the top, they're all original. You can even see it right here around the button. So I think I'm going to leave this like this. And now that I've done cleaned that out, I'm going to move on to the light compartment. And you can still see some of that original green paint right here under the clip. It's very dull, very hard to see. But this is in pretty rough shape too. I think what I'll do is start by just scraping it with the vinegar and toothbrush, polishing it up, getting that a little cleaner, and we'll see where to go from there. Alright, so I've done cleaned up the I guess the light casing a little bit. And you can see it's pretty clean. The brass came out very nice. The little paint that is left up here is right here under the clip because it hadn't had contact. What I want to know is how old this thing is and what kind of use it saw for it to have every last bit of its paint basically removed like the way it is. You can see the Boy Scout seal right there. It's a little scraped up. Looks like at some point this top piece was stuck and he used some pliers to get it off. You can still see the seal very clearly. And then over here we have, it says EVERREADY case number 2697, unit 2 unit cells, number 95C. Lamp number 1161, casing PEG, US Patent Office, made in USA. So I kept the light bulb in there just to keep any vinegar or stuff from getting in. What I did first, I cleaned it off with brass, polished to see where the actual buildup was. Then I got some vinegar and a toothbrush, right here my vinegar, and scraped a little bit. The chrome came out really well too. I think I'm just going to work on cleaning up a little bit more with the brass polish, and then we'll move on to the lens. Clean up the lantern housing again, the bulb housing again. Looks pretty much the same. There's not a lot more to go there. What I went ahead and did though is the ring, the bottom piece, and the spring were all soaking in the vinegar mixture, and I took them apart, and I already cleaned them up. What I did, there wasn't a whole lot to do with the bottom piece and the ring. Just got some vinegar on it and used my trusty brass brush, my brass wire brush. You're gonna need something really strong. The toothbrush isn't cutting it. And just kind of scraped off as much of this corrosion here as I could. The ring, it's raw metal. It came pretty clean. The inside of this came very clean. I think that's stamped aluminum. It is stamped. You can see the EVERREADY logo right there on the bottom, made in USA. It came really clean, and then the spring, I used the brush, and it was completely corroded, very rough, and it came very clean, and it's very nice and smooth now. So just put that back into the bottom there, and then we'll screw the bottom back on to the rest of the flashlight. So it's getting there, very slowly but surely. We are getting there to the point where eventually we're going to have this thing working. So we have the globe cleaned up, the lens. It's very solid. I was very surprised, like I said when I got this, that this is actually real glass. This is not plastic, it's not plexiglass, it's solid glass like you find in your window or door or something like that. I can't get in there, clean it up, you can see it's a little bit scratched up. The glass is pretty nice. It's a little dented. I'm very surprised it hasn't been broken in the last 60, 70, 80 however old this thing is years. I cleaned up the back a little bit. Doesn't really do anything. It was just very tarnished and covered in dirt, so I cleaned that up. The bulb is still in there. It's put on. I realized that I do not have any D batteries that will fit into this, or as it C, no D batteries to make it go, make it work. So I'm going to have to make a run to Walmart, and when I get back, we will see if it works as good as it looks. Alright, so the run to Walmart took 3 days because it is now Sunday, and I went on Thursday, and Walmart had batteries, but when I got back, put the batteries in the flashlight, it did not work. So they did not sell replacement bulbs. The only place I could find a replacement bulb was Ace Hardware, and that was on Friday, and I didn't have a chance to record again until Sunday today. So we have the flashlight here. It has 2 new D batteries in it and a brand new bulb. And before we go out and start testing it, what I'd like to point out is that this bulb is not the original type bulb that you would see in this flashlight. This is a newer bulb. It's the only one I could find between Ace Hardware and Walmart and Lowe's. This is it. They don't really sell incandescent bulbs anymore, and I wanted to get the LED conversion light bulb that I had in my newer model of this flashlight from the 60s. Well, it does not fit either. It's too big because it's a screw-in type light bulb, and the newer ones were just the ones that sit in the flanges on the side and then the whole assembly screwed in. So you're stuck with the incandescent. That's fine though. Keep it original. The other thing I realized about this flashlight when I started doing some more research is that these were only made by EVERREADY between 1927 and 1939. So it was the last one ever made. It was made in 1939, and I highly doubt it is, so it's probably even older than that. So it definitely very may well be from the 1920s. It was also the first flashlight ever to be marketed as an outdoors flashlight in the United States and the world, officially as the Boy Scout flashlight. It became a Boy Scout flashlight before it was on the civilian market. But without further ado, with the new light bulb, the corrosion cleaned out, the outside cleaned up, and new batteries, Yes, it does. It does work very well indeed. It puts out just as much light as you would expect a 70-year-old flashlight to. And what's really cool is it has two settings. You have the on setting, like that. And then also if it's off, we have this button right here. If you push that button, it just does a little, just completes the circuit. And what this was used for was Morse code signaling. Alright, so now that we've talked about the flashlight, what we're going to do is we're going to do a side-by-side comparison to kind of give you an idea of how bright this thing really is. Now, what I brought today to compare with is my Maglite, Mini Maglite LED Pro. Very good flashlight. I think it was $25, $30 at Walmart, worth every penny. I've carried it around for a year, beat the heck out of it, and it still works great. So that's what we're going to compare to today. I'm going to turn off the lights, and we'll start off with the Mini Maglite, and then we'll go to the EVERREADY. So, old and new, incandescent, LED. Let's see how they compare. Alright, so the first thing we're going to start with is the LED Pro Mini Maglite. As you can see, this is the Mini Maglite LED Pro. Very, very, very bright flashlight. You can adjust the lens. You can get a dimmer beam. You can get a more focused, very bright beam. So of course, that is what $30 will get you in 2017 LED Mini Maglite. Now here's the EVERREADY 1927-1939 Boy Scout flashlight. Obviously, it's a lot dimmer. This is not a comparison of which flashlight is better, just to give you a baseline of what you might be expecting. So this is the flashlight, completely screwed in with the incandescent bulb. And like I said, you can adjust the lens and unscrew it, and it'll give you a more focused beam. So that is your focused beam right there. It's not a whole lot better, but if you're working on a tight area, it's going to give you something a little more than just the unfocused beam like we have here. It does give you a really wide light, which is very nice. The Maglite does not give you that wide of a light. And it also gives you a softer light. If you're inside of a tent or something, it's definitely something you're going to want. Again, for a 70-year-old flashlight, this is not bad at all, I don't think. So I'll let you be the judge as to whether or not you think that in 1927 they knew what they were doing when they designed the first outdoor flashlight or not. But that has been the not so much restoration, but more of a preservation of this flashlight. I just wanted to keep it as original as possible and just get it to the point. Hopefully maybe it'll last 70 more years, and a Scout in the future will be doing the same thing I'm doing now and using it. Guys, check out my other videos, some more vintage Scout stuff. I appreciate it.